Hello there and welcome to our class on CBD. We are so glad that you decided to join us. This is a topic that we have been wanting to do a class on for quite some time. And look, now that we're all stuck at home, we get to do it for so many more people. So some of you might be new here and haven't seen one of our classes before. So Kim, why don't you tell these fine people who you are?
Hi guys, my name is Kim Pollard. And I am just a mom. I say just a mom, but that's not really true. I am a mom, a warrior mom. I've got 12 kids. I've been married to my husband for 27 years, almost 28. So I'm a warrior wife too. I was not a natural person to start off with in life. I was a Big Mac and Coke kind of girl and a fast food, give me my quick fixes. But over the years and with adding my kids and just caring about them and wanting the best for my family and for myself, I have tried to look at things with a more open mind and find things that are healthy and better for my family. So that's kind of one of the ways that I stumbled onto CBD with Lainie. And she and I have been friends for a long time. And that's how we got to teaching classes together, because we like to hang out. And this gives us a good reason to do that.
Right. And I'm Lainie Stump. I have 10 children, and that's what brought us together, because we needed some support in the cuckoo crazy. And with 10 kids, there's always something going on. And so I really looked into CBD to try and help support my kids in kind of what they're doing and help support me in what I'm going through. I'm 49. There's some stuff. So anyway, I'm sure that you all have seen all the signs popping up everywhere for CBD. I got gas a couple weeks ago, one of the few times I've been out of my house, and there was a sign at our local Speedway gas station for CBD. Our family video has had it up on their sign for a long time, and tons of other places. In fact, last summer, Kim and I were at a street fair type thing, and there were people selling CBD from a tent, which is like a folding table. And that's not sketchy. So it is everywhere. And so we need to be smart about what we're doing when it comes to CBD.
Right. So first of all, I get this question a lot. What is CBD? Well, CBD is short for, I always have trouble saying the whole word, cannabidiol. Am I saying that correctly? Cannabidiol. Thank you. Say it.
Never mind. It's CBD.
Anyway, look it up. It's CBD. I was saying it earlier today, and I was doing just fine, and I knew this would happen. So anyway, look it up. It's CBD. It is a chemical compound from the cannabis plant. It is a naturally occurring substance that's used in products like oils to impart feelings of relaxation and calm, and who doesn't need that around here? Unlike its cousin, and I'm not even going to try to say this one, THC, you can look it up, it's really long, but unlike THC, it is not psychoactive. Oh, you mean like marijuana? Yeah, it's not like that. So no, it's not pot. People ask that a lot. If you're completely unfamiliar with CBD, you might be picturing somebody in a Zen den, listening to fish, smoking their worries away. And if you were one of those people, feel free to comment or not. But I'm sorry to tell you here, you're not going to find that here. While CBD is taken from the same cannabis plant, it lacks the psychoactive and mind-altering effects, aka no, you don't get high. Sorry, Cheech, right? And if you're too young to understand that Cheech reference, please do not comment, because I don't want to know. So anyway, moving on. While some will call CBD oil marijuana's close cousin, it lacks, as researchers have been spending the last several years proving that while marijuana has amazing medicinal properties, and it does, what if we could take the part out that makes people high? And so then we wouldn't have to worry about that. Well, the cannabis plant is made up of two main players, CBD and THC. And while THC is 20 times more potent than aspirin and twice as potent as hydrocortisone for reducing inflammation, it's also likely to have a more powerful medicinal effect for certain conditions CBD has therapeutic properties on its own. Young Living's Nature's Ultra doesn't contain THC, none whatsoever. And then this is one more thing I wanted to clarify. The two major phytocannabinoid constituents, and say that quickly, with central nervous system activity are THC, responsible for the euphoric and mind-altering effects, and CBD, which lacks those psychoactive effects. And that is from PubMed if you want to look anything up about that.
So what are these cannabinoids? Cannabinoids are chemical compounds that bind to the endocannabinoid system in your body. The system has receptors. There are over 113 known cannabinoids found in the hemp plant. The human body produces certain cannabinoids on its own. It also has two receptors for cannabinoids called CB1 receptors and CB2 receptors. The CB1 receptors are found throughout the body, but mostly in the brain. Those receptors deal with coordination, movement, pain, emotions, mood, thinking, appetites, and other functions. THC attaches to the CB1 receptors. That's why people joke about like, oh, when you're high, you want to go eat a whole bag of Doritos because it all goes in there. The CB2 receptors are more common in the immune system. They affect inflammation and pain. All cannabinoids, including CBD, produce effects in the body by attaching to certain cell receptors. Researchers once believed that CBD attached to the CB2 receptors, but it now appears that CBD doesn't actually attach to a receptor. Instead, it directs the body to make more of its own cannabinoids. In each tissue, the cannabinoid system performs different tasks, but the goal is always the same, and that is homeostasis.
Okay, and homeostasis, just in case you haven't heard that word before, in a general sense refers to stability or balance in a system. It's the body's attempt to maintain a constant internal environment. Maintaining a stable internal environment requires constant monitoring and adjustments as conditions change. If we support our body the way that it needs, the body will work to achieve balance. That's what our body just naturally wants to do. So when we give it what it needs, then it's better able to do that for us. So just to clarify, scientists discovered that there are systems in our body that are solely dependent on their interaction with cannabinoids. And these systems are part of vital functions in our body. Basically, our bodies were designed to work with cannabinoids, and they can even be considered as essential to our overall health and wellness.
So all that is the science behind why it works and why it does what it does. And I'll even put a graphic in the unit that we will put this in that talks about the whole system so you can see where all these receptors are throughout your body. But what everyone really wants to know at the end of the day is, what can CBD help with? Why should I be looking at CBD as an option to support my wellness goals? Well, we're not doctors. We cannot diagnose, we cannot treat, we cannot prescribe. All we're going to tell you is how CBD has helped our families and then other people's experiences that they've had with CBDs. Studies have shown that CBD can be effective in providing relief from mental health conditions, various types of pain, improving immunity, reducing inflammation, inhibiting tumor growth, and reducing chemo-related nausea, and also sleep disorder. What I can tell you, in my family, I was the first one that started using CBD to help with my hot flashes because it's been shown to help with hormonal issues. And I noticed after probably 2 to 3 weeks, it was one of those things of like, hey, I haven't had a hot flash in a while. And so long as I continue to take it, it continues to provide relief for that. I also like a roller. When I have a headache, I have a roller and I'll put that on. I slept funky last night. I put a little muscle rub on my shoulder to help that. Also in our family, my daughter, who is 20 now, she uses it to deal with anxiety and panic attacks. And she absolutely doesn't feel like she can be without it. She gets a little upset with me when I forget to order it. I have a 7-year-old that needs it. She can be pretty intense. And so she gets drops. And also the roller. I like the roller because I can tell her to go put it on herself. And when she needs it. And even just today, my son works for our local farmer, and he was schlepping big old bags of who knows what from here to there. And he was saying, oh, my arm is really sore this morning.
See,
And
are
so,
you there now?
oh, did I go away?
Well, you froze on me and I couldn't hear you and you couldn't hear me for a minute.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but
I hope the recording kept me. I'll have to see. Okay.
yeah, I hope so.
Saying that Caleb noticed that he was sore from working yesterday, and he rubbed the muscle rub on, and within like 2 minutes, and he can be a skeptical guy. Doesn't matter many times I give him stuff and it works, he's still skeptical every single time. But he's like, well, I don't know, we'll see. And he came back and he's like, my arm doesn't hurt anymore. And then my husband said, my wrist hurt, can you help me with that? Yes. So yeah, so I mean, it's, we've been using it in all sorts of ways, when bonks on the head, stuff like that, and it's very helpful. What about you, Kim?
Yep. So it took me a little longer to get moving with the CBD oil because I was already using essential oils, and we use a lot of those for some of these same things, to help with emotions and to help with pain and things like that. And it seemed really hokey to me at first, because you do see that on the family video sign and the gas station sign, CBD sold here. So that was my first like introduction to it, was just like, what the heck, So I waited a little bit longer, and then I heard people talking about it, and then Young Living, started talking about it. So I started researching and looking into things. So we just recently started. My 20-year-old came home during this pandemic from college and was starting to work from home. And did I mention we have 12 kids? So all of us at home all the time trying to work was really, she was struggling hard, struggling. So she is prone to anxiety anyway. And so she would use some essential oils for that. But when she first came home, day after day after day, it was just meltdowns and crying, and I'm never going to get this all done, and never done. And I couldn't help her. I was rubbing all the oils on her. And while it would help some, it would take the edge off for her. She still every day was dealing with it. So I said, just let's try the CBD oil, because I had some and gotten it because I had been meaning to try it for my own hot flashes that are starting now, because while I'm not quite as old as Lainie, I'm getting there.
9 months, people. She's 9 months younger. That's it.
Hey, I take every ounce I can get of that, all 9 months. So anyway, I told her to try it, and she put it under her tongue, and probably 20 minutes later, she said, Mom, can it work this fast? And I'm like, yeah, it can. And she could tell just a difference in her demeanor. So she started taking it every day, and oh my word, there were no meltdowns. I mean, she still had the same workload. We still had the same number of people in the house, but she was not melting down, and it was incredible. So then, of course, always happens, she went to school to pick up her stuff because they were able to move out of their house early, and she stayed overnight there and didn't take it with her. The next day she came home. What happened? She had a meltdown. I'm like, oh, sweetheart, come here. Let's try those drops again. And she's been taking it ever since. So it's been amazing. So I'm getting ready to do some more with that with our family. We just have been using essential oils more, but I'm seeing the benefits, and through all the research and testimonies, it's crazy good, crazy good. So.
Right. So we have some other testimonies that I've compiled from around the stratosphere to talk about that. Some of the things that we haven't personally experienced with, or some other people's perspective. So here's one about pets. We use CBD to help calm our Great Dane during storms whenever she's scared, which is quite often. Okay, a scared Great Dane does not sound like a heart, but anyway.
It doesn't go together.
We also use it for our foxhound who has seizures. Pain and stress are seizure triggers for her. We try and calm her, but when things get extra special, she needs more support. Their vet had suggested CBD, and it's working very well for her. We use it preventively and also during a seizure. So for your dog, here's one that helps with their emotions. I use the mint CBD dropper under my tongue to help with those days when I'm feeling edgy and when I just want to jump out of my skin. It has helped calm me and helps me function at work during high stress times. Here's someone that it helps with their sleep, which it makes you sleep. It really does. From me, an insomniac for the past 7 to 10 years, I typically wake up every night around 3 a.m. I bought the Cool Mint CBD and started taking a quarter dropper twice a day and noticed my anxiety through the day lessen significantly. 2 nights ago, I decided to up it to half a dropper for nighttime. I took it before bed, went to sleep as usual, and when I woke up, it was light outside. I had to grab my phone and almost cried when I saw it was 5:50. I had slept through the entire night without waking up. Here's one about pain. My husband was in a serious car accident in 1999 and hasn't been without pain since. He tried 500 milligrams CBD for the first time today, and within about 30 minutes, he had no pain, none. He was crying because he didn't know what feeling no pain felt like anymore. We are anxious to see what happens next. Here's one about another pain. I suffer from chronic pain and joint inflammation. After my first dose of Cool Mint, I felt the pain melt away and my mobility increased. I was hesitant to try a full dose, so that was only a quarter dropper. Blown away. In a week, I've noticed a difference in my ability to focus, my sleep patterns, and overall mood. CBD for the win. And this is the last one I'm going to read. I've been suffering from severe panic attacks several times a day. I used my oils and they helped, but I still continued to have the attacks. I started using the 1,000 milligram citrus CBD last Sunday. Today was the first day I didn't have a panic attack, not one in several months. Or Tuesday was the first day, and I have not had one since. It has been 5 days now. I am amazed and incredibly thankful. Needless to say, this will be a staple in our home.
Yeah. I've got a few here that what's that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So I have a few here that I found that I really got me interested. This one says, I bought the 500 ml peppermint CBD oil to test. I haven't tried any type before this. I decided I would just test 0.25 mils under my tongue and see if that would do anything. The first 2 days, I thought it was a fluke, as all of us skeptics do. I added that part myself because I was a skeptic. But honestly, within 15 minutes, all my joints are so much better. For me, just that little bit does the trick all day. Prior to this, my joints in my shoulders, back, knees, ankles, and feet would hurt so much to move. I'd have to reach for the NSAIDs just to be able to function. I may need to up my dose later, especially in the winter, but wow, I'm so happy. Which, yeah, is crazy. For people who live with chronic pain, I don't know how they do it. So, but I've heard a lot of good things about CBD. Okay, this one is about kids and focus. I've been giving the citrus drops to my grandson who is totally out of focus, and we are waiting for testing to begin. I started him 4 days ago. For the first time ever, he came home from school and he did his homework without even telling me. Usually I have to sit and fight with him the entire session. He plays guitar and pulled off a performance I was about to eliminate him from. His focus was dead on. I'm in shock at this transformation in him. I take the drops as well, makes my day easier, and I needed that at 64 years old, raising grandkids. So grateful. I also use the muscle rub. It's a cure-all for me, instant pain relief. And then, I've got it up here above, for postpartum depression, and we've all experienced that to some degree or another, or a lot of us have. This one says, I've been using the citrus 1,000 milligrams to help with my postpartum depression, 8 months postpartum. It's been a lifesaver, night and day. It was my last ditch effort before medication. So thankful for it.
Wow. Awesome. All right. So does it work right away? Like your daughter experienced almost immediate relief, and often that is the case. Sometimes that happens. A lot of people will notice better sleep the very first night they take CBD. Our neighbor has had knee replacement and knee pain for years. He has to sleep with a pillow under his knee. He didn't have to do that his very first night with CBD. However, others, it might take 2 weeks, a month to even notice anything. I know personally, it took a couple weeks for like the hot flashes kind of just went away gradually. It's important to be patient when you start taking CBD. A lot of people will give up too soon, or don't go through enough experimenting to figure out what works best for them and what dose is appropriate. Just like those essential oils, you have to find out what works for you, and consistency is key. Typically, when you take it sublingually under the tongue, it takes about 20 minutes for it to enter your system. So that makes sense as to why your daughter noticed a difference in about 20 minutes. It hit her system and it made a difference. So strength is the first thing that to make sure you get the most out of your CBD experience. It comes in different strengths. Like it says right there, don't know if you can read it, 500 milligrams. Okay. It will take some experimenting to figure out what dose and strength works best for you. The dropper has little marks on it. So it goes from 0.25 up to 1 milliliter. You need to take your dose daily for maximum effects. Missing a dose will lessen the amount of the CBD in your system and therefore decrease the overall effectiveness. Listen to your body. If you're feeling off, you might be overdoing the CBD, but if you're not getting the results you want, gradually increase the dose. Pay attention. And of course, in things like this, it's always a good idea to just take a journal and write down, okay, I took it here, 2 hours later, I felt this. And then playing with the dosing schedule, sometimes it works best to take it evenly throughout the day instead of one large dose in the morning or at night. This is another reason why experimentation is important and listening to your body. I know personally, I used to take 0.5 ml in the morning, 0.5 ml at night. But then I started playing with it and upping my evening dose to 0.75 because that's when I tend to get warm, is when I'm sleeping. And so I went 0.75 at night, 0.25 in the morning. Same amount, but just playing with it, and I sleep better for sure. So that really worked for me. So, and it's important to remember, just because it works for one person, this dosing and this amount, you might be different. The period of time it takes effect will be different for different people. Just as people react differently to different medications or even different essential oils, we will all react differently to CBD. So we need to be patient. We need to be willing to experiment, listen to our body, and really work to get the results that we're looking for, because this doesn't have the side effects that the medication has. So we want to be able to use these more natural ways rather than the medication. And we're our own best advocate in trying to figure out what works best for us.
Absolutely. And so while using anything with your kids can be a big, scary leap, again, this is why Lainie and I always say, do your own research. There are tons of reports about families that took that jump and literally moved to the states that legalized CBD first because they believed in the value that much. While there are no reports on long-term effects, the current studies and testimonies speak volumes. And we'll add a link to some of the ways that CBD is helping children, and you can see those. One good way that you can give CBD to kids is by adding it to their niksha or to soft food, smoothie, or water if you can't get them to take it sublingually. But it actually tastes really good. The citrus is what we like around here the most, but your younger ones use it, yeah?
Yeah, my 7-year-old and my 20-year-old, they both use the citrus flavor. Totally love it. It's not a problem. It feels weird. Anytime you're going to put an oily liquid under your tongue for the first time, it feels a little weird. It probably took 2 or 3 doses for my 7-year-old to be totally okay with it. So she has no problem, and she'll ask for it sometimes. My 3-year-old is very willing to rub the calm roller on herself when she's having some emotional struggles. So, check with your doctor if you're concerned. Absolutely. Start at a low dosage. I mean, we're talking drops, not even up to that 0.25. If it's a younger child, 3 drops. Start there. Start very slow.
Yeah. And then also, like we had talked about before, we'll provide you with testimonies. Lainie had given one of them on using CBD with pets, but we'll provide you with testimonies on how people use CBD with their pets, especially in the areas of too much energy or stiffness or pain, things like that. And then you'll have access to those testimonies so you can see them even without seeing our pretty faces.
Which was fun, but you know.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so how do you use it? Okay, we've kind of alluded to this, but one way is the roller. It's, you know, great for on the go, great for super easy. Rub it on your wrist, rub it behind your neck when you're feeling stressed out. Roll it on a bonk on the head. When Ren, you know, slammed her face onto the concrete the other day, I was able to roll it on, rock her, and she calmed down relatively fast. And I've been having, with all the pressure changes, I've been having some sinus headaches. Just roll it on before bed. So this is the roller, the calm roller that Nature's Altar currently has. It's infused with calming Young Living oils. It creates like a peaceful environment that helps you relax, kind of quiets your mind. You know, whenever a child's going off the rails or someone needs to settle down at bedtime. So if you're familiar with oils, the oils that are in this: eucalyptus, frankincense, lavender, orange, vetiver, and ylang ylang. So these rollers,
Good oils.
yeah, fantastic oils. These are very beneficial to use. You need to understand they don't have quite the same effect as ingesting the CBD drops. It's not going to go into your system as quickly. It's not going to be as strong. But that being said, I love the convenience of having these guys on hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can throw those in your purse pretty easy. And when you're sitting in church or when out on the playground or something, it's easy to use those. So anybody experience carrying around a 30-pound toddler all day long? Fixing up your car? Not so much for me, but for my husband. Moving boxes, on your feet in a demanding job, trying to outfloss your teenager. I think we've both been there, done that, right?
I want.
Okay, we'll have to do a contest on that one later. Anyway, if you've done any of those things, using CBD topically in a muscle rub can help ease the discomfort associated with sore muscles and aches. Do you have yours? I knew you would. That's a different little thick container, isn't it?
It's because I split it with my mom. So I scooped some out and then I sent it with her so she could use it for her arthritis.
Yeah. And I got mine and I sent it with my mom as well, but I wasn't smart enough to scoop some out for myself. So I know, but I have some ordered already. It's on the way. So using topical CBD, when you use it, it diffuses across your skin and it reaches local targets like your muscles, inflammatory cells, and pain-perceiving nerves. So talking about brands, because it is important which ones you use. Please do not go into Speedway or Family Video and buy your CBD. Just don't do it. If you do, do not tell us. Okay, so all Nature's Ultra products start with the best farming practices. They're dedicated to quality, and that begins right at the source of the ingredients with organic farming practices. The CBD is derived from hemp plants grown without the use of any pesticides, and that's important because it will soak up all those pesticides and then you are rubbing it on or putting it in your body, and you do not want to do that. During the extraction process, the products are tested multiple times for potency and purity. Rigorous testing ensures that each product is free of any heavy metals, and our proprietary extraction methods mean you do not have to worry about any harsh chemicals. The result is the purest CBD and 0% THC. Every step is taken to ensure that you get the best quality product on the market.
My husband, one of the many hats he wears is as a landscape architect, and he actually went to a conference on growing hemp, I think like in January. And he came home and he told me that he was told in this workshop that most of the CBD available in stores is worthless. There is little to no CBD in the bottles, and what's in the bottles you don't want to be putting on your body. So
that's not a surprise to me.
Right, exactly. So I'm going to tell you what's in these products, and I want you to be confident in the products that we're using, we're loving, and I know you can see great results with. I've been using CBD, as I said, for a year now, and I love it. I know it's a beneficial product. I know so many people are going to fall in love with this and have truly life-changing results. So, but it's important to understand what's in it. Right here, it says it on the label. This product is a CBD isolate. An isolate is quite a bit different from a full spectrum product. A full spectrum product still has that THC in it. An isolate does not. To create an isolate, they take a full spectrum product and they use a process that breaks it down into a powder. CBD isolate is the absolute purest form of CBD that you can have, and it's in a powder form. In order to make this into a liquid that we can use, we have to add it to something. So what they do is they take the CBD isolate compound and they add it to a fatty oil. They do that because it is a fat-soluble CBD product, okay? This is not a water-soluble CBD product. In order to make a water-soluble CBD product, you have to use a chemical in that process. And we love our Young Living products because we don't want chemicals in our stuff, right? So this is a fat-soluble product for us to be able to use for our bodies, and to use it the way that it needs to be used, it needs to be in a fatty carrier oil. So can you tell us about the carrier oil, Kim?
Yes, absolutely. We have 4 ingredients in our CBD oil. And MCT oil, if any of you are familiar and have followed when we talk about the THM, we talk about MCT oil sometimes in that. But MCT oil is your fatty carrier oil. That's what makes your body actually be able to use the fat-soluble CBD. MCT is a medium chain triglyceride. Got that one? It is actually fractionated coconut oil, and that MCT oil is broken down into tiny little molecules, medium chain molecules, that can be absorbed by the liver much more easily. MCT oil is widely known for its therapeutic benefits, so I'm certain that many of you are familiar with it already. Because it's more bioavailable, because the liver can break it down so quickly, we have our isolate paired with, in a medium chain triglyceride oil. We have the fatty oil to make it absorbable. We have an oil that the body can break down very quickly to use it, so you're going to get better absorption and better use out of this product. The CBD isolate is in there because obviously that's what's doing the work. So that's the second thing we have in there. You have to have CBD in the product to be CBD, right? The essential oils are in there because they're providing the terpenes. And this is a little bit of the scientific part that I get kind of excited about, because if you do the color personalities, I'm a green. So I like to know how it all works. The essential oils are providing the terpenes, what you smell, and the associated therapeutic benefits to make this a broad spectrum or a smart spectrum product. With a full spectrum, like Lainie said before, with the THC in it, with a full spectrum, you have all the terpenes in there that are naturally occurring in the plant. Now, when you make the isolate, when you have the CBD isolate, you lose those terpenes that are naturally occurring. They're gone. So we're taking a CBD isolate and we're making it even better by adding in the terpenes from our essential oils. So you have the benefits of the terpenes from those oils in there, which is awesome because, like I said, we already love our oils. So terpenes, for those of you who are asking, what are terpenes? They communicate with nerves, they support muscles, they translate to neurotransmitter receptors, G protein receptors, and enzymes. You'll see Young Living oils in these CBD products that are high in terpenes, like helichrysum, copaiba, ylang-ylang, and black pepper. Those are a few of them that we have in there. Terpenes also have proved effective on our health too, with some properties including things like anti-inflammatory and stress relief. When we smell the fragrances, we've talked about that before in some of our other classes, when you smell them, the fragrances secreted from the terpenes, it activates receptors in our olfactory system, the membranes, neurons, and nerves that control our sense of smell. Oh yeah, you're smelling it right now. Thanks for demonstrating. I appreciate that. Our olfactory system then communicates with the receptors in our limbic system of our brains. This system controls upper level functions of our brains, such as emotions, stress reactions, memory recall. That's why people always talk about when you smell something, it takes you back, like to grandma's house when you smell cookies or something like that. So the activation of these receptors, which would have otherwise been dormant, opens the door to a wide variety of health benefits. So all you science geeks out there, terpenes are in our essential oils and in our CBD, right?
And so they taste good, right? Yeah, they taste good with the
They better.
flavors, but it's not just a flavor. We know that when we partner the CBD with the terpenes from the oils, it has a synergistic effect. So they enhance the way each of them work. The CBD is going to be more powerful when you add the terpenes in from the oils, and the terpenes are going to do their job better when you have the CBD present. That's a win-win. So these are the types that we have. We have citrus, which can be very calming or uplifting. We have cinnamon, which keeps your body feeling well. And then we have mint, which I do not have. That helps manage discomfort. So
I like the mint.
Okay. And then the very last ingredient in there is stevia. Stevia has one job, and that is to make things sweet. And we are currently in a world where the FDA regulates what we do. And so as a result, the label has been changed for now to show that it is for topical use only until everything in that arena gets evened out. All right. So if it were only topical, there wouldn't be stevia in it, if you catch my drift. But it says topical, and we apply it under our tongue, which some people will say that's actually a topical because you're applying it to the skin under your tongue. You do you. Even with my 7-year-old, because there is no THC in this product, I am comfortable giving it to her internally. That is our choice, and we're cool with it. So you can certainly apply it on your skin if you want to. In fact, feel free to use it as part of your beauty regimen because CBD has antioxidant properties, which helps lessen the signs of aging by boosting your ability to create new skin cells. So, hello, radiant, youthful, glowing skin, right?
You must be using that already, Lainie. Okay, so one other question that we get asked a lot is, can I test positive for marijuana? Because people in their jobs don't want to lose their jobs just by using CBD. So the vast majority of drug tests are testing for THC. Since our CBD doesn't contain THC, you won't test positive. Now, there are some rarely used outdated tests that test for cannabinoids. Now, those would naturally come back positive if you're using any CBD product. If you're concerned, a conversation with human resources, just explaining why you're
Ooh, now you froze.
CBD before you test to find out what kind of test is being given will help eliminate problems just right up at the start. FYI, just in case, yes?
You froze.
Are you raising? What?
You froze for a minute.
Oh.
What she said was, talk to HR before you take a drug test if you're concerned, okay? This is a situation of better to ask permission than forgiveness. Don't fail the test and then go back and say why I failed the test, okay? But chances are it's not going to be a problem, but being upfront is always best.
Yeah. And just FYI, there are other medications that can also give false positives for THC or even barbiturates. Things like ibuprofen, which is Motrin or Advil, and naproxen, which is Aleve. Just a heads up, too, antidepressants, cold medicines, poppy seed bagels, snack bars with hemp seeds or protein, tonic water, supplements synthesized with hemp oil. Those are some of the things that can also cause you to fail a drug test, even though you aren't using drugs.
Right. Just say no to drugs. Right.
That's right.
So that is about all we have right here for all of our information on CBD. Please let us know if you have any questions. You can either post it in the comments as you're watching this, shoot us a message. We can't wait to help you and your family feel better. We know that there have been some truly inspiring testimonials on how this has helped people really regain their life. So your next step is to decide what strength you want. Like I said, this is 500. There's also 1,000. Trust me. Right there. There's also 1,000 milligram most people that are new to CBD are most comfortable starting with 500. That's the regular strength as opposed to the extra strength, and then seeing how they feel, and if they need to work up from there, they do that. So it comes in a set. I'll post some information on that. It's so much cheaper to buy it in the set, like $115 cheaper. And that's how I'm replacing my products now, because I always have a family member that needs it and wants to take this sucker and go away with it. So I'll put a link in the comments for that so you can get yourself some CBD. So
Yeah.
excellent. Well, thank you so much. We can't wait to talk to you more about this. And I hope that you all have a fantastic rest of your day. So,
Bye.